boys and girls, today we're back for part 2 of our animal habitat unit. So today we're going to talk about 7 different natural habitats that the animals can live in. I am going to show you a poster that I did send in the email, so if you wanted to follow along with the printout, or you can just follow along on my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can see the same thing. Okay, animal habitats. A habitat is a home or environment an animal lives in. And remember, we talked about the 5 different things that an animal would need: sunlight, water, air, food, and shelter. So in a desert habitat, it would be dry, very hot during the day, and then cold at night. Very little rain falls, and the ground would be mostly sand. So on the right-hand side, it shows you different animals that would be in the desert habitat, like a camel, lizard, coyote, fox, bird, snake, roadrunner, Gila monster, a scorpion, armadillo, and a meerkat. So hopefully some of you found some animals either that you've heard of in that desert habitat or some animals you'd like to know more about. I'm going to go down to the next habitat, wetlands. Okay, and that's a little picture of a frog here in the middle. This would be swamp, shallow water, saltwater, or freshwater. So animals that would live in the wetlands would be beavers, toads, snakes, fish, birds, amphibians, turtles, spiders, insects, alligators, or even crocodiles. Okay, moving down to this next one. The forest. It has a large area with lots of trees and plants. Shade from the trees keeps the animals cool. Seasons change, hot in the summer and cold in the winter. So in this habitat, you might see animals like owls, insects, deer, eagle, bear, possum, raccoon, fox, turkey, squirrel, toad, wolves, moose, birds, and beavers. So before I go on to the next one, I want you to think about the different animals that we've seen so far. And does it make sense that they live there in that specific habitat? So let me go back up for a second. When you think of something that a snake likes, I often think of a snake slithering through the sand, okay, out in the hot, dry day. Okay, and then I go down to the next one. Something like a fish. Well, I'm going to find that in the swamps or the shallow water. Then down here in the forest, many deer can be found in the forest. Okay, each of these habitats is a special home for these animals because it has what they want and what they need to survive. All right, let's keep going. So now down to the ocean habitat. A large body of salt water, so different from the wetlands because that said it could be salt water or fresh water. So down to the ocean is a large body of large body of salt water. Over half the earth, 3/4 of the earth is covered with the ocean. Some animals live under the water, like fish, and others live at the surface, like a seal. So then there on the right are some animals that you might find in this habitat. Things like fish and starfish, crabs, octopus, eel, seal, seagull, pelican, whale, dolphin, sea turtle, seahorse, and shark. Something I find neat about this habitat is that they have animals that live under the water and then animals that also live above the water, like the seagulls. Okay? They're going to live near the ocean because they want to be able to dive down and eat the fish. Next, we have the Arctic, the coldest place on Earth, covered in ice and snow. We'll find penguin, polar bear, seals, blue whales, snowy owls, Arctic fox, reindeer, and walrus. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is grassland. Large open area. Few trees, tall grass and bushes. And in Africa, they're called savannas. So that is a beautiful picture with the giraffe of an African savanna. Cheetah, zebra, giraffe, lion, hyena, mongoose, rhinoceros, and elephant. Okay, so they're going to want that type of habitat. And the last one, rainforest. Rainforests are hot and humid, also known as the jungle. Filled with tall trees, it rains every day, and it's tropical or near the equator. You have to think back, if you remember what the equator is. When we looked at our globe in the classroom, it was that imaginary line that went all the way around the center, and that is the hottest area. So rainforests are found around the center of the earth. They're very hot and humid. We would find jaguars, sloths. So I know some of you really like sloths, tigers, an anteater, python, gorilla, tapir, a toucan, poison frogs, viper, koala, chameleon, and monkeys. So many different things that we would find in the rainforest. Now, hopefully each of you have been to a zoo, okay, whether it be the Philadelphia Zoo or maybe even a different zoo. And at that zoo, you will notice that as you walk around, there are different animals in different sections. So what the zookeepers do is they like to set up the animals near other animals that would be found in similar habitats. So for example, if you've ever been to the Philadelphia Zoo, you'll see the zebras right next to the giraffes, right next to the rhinos, all together in one area. They all like to live in the grassland. Then if you keep traveling around the zoo, you might find the forest animals. They're over towards the one side, and you would see the eagles, I know, are over there, and they're set up right near some of the other birds that would live in the forest. So when we visit a zoo, they have it set up so that you can see all the different types of habitats and what those animals would be comfortable living in if they were still in the wild. Okay, but when you go to a zoo, the zookeeper's job is to make sure that they have everything that they would want to have. Those 5 things that they are important to them, the zookeeper's job would be to keep track and make sure that they have what they need. All right, so I'll see you back for the next part.